I got that
Hey, what's up everyone? Epithemy here, and I hope you're all having a beautiful day. And today's video is just a capitalization on yesterday's key to winning pistol rounds video. Dakota Cole commented, he said it was a little bit too straightforward and he wanted something more in depth. So that's what we're going to do for today's video. Now, for today's video, I wanted to start off by talking about positioning, and that's what I started off with talking about in the last video. And with that, positioning, that just means crossfires with your teammates, and also, you know, setting up and finding a good position to allow your teammates to rotate and you still be alive on site. So one of the first positions that I always suggest, and this is what I had in mind when making the video, was Dust 2. So we're just going to start on this, but this works for any map, any site, any map. So one of the best positions, I definitely suggest this position because you can easily get 1, maybe 2 kills up here, and not a lot of people look for this exact position, and they could really only see your head, so that's something good. And then even if you do get shot at, you could easily fall off. You know, you have other angles you can hold like this. You can, you know, even just hold here. You don't have to peek any side or anything like that. You could just hold here, wait for them to try and rush you. That's definitely an option. And with that, if you're holding right there, you could easily have a teammate that holds right here on car, you know, or while your teammate's holding there on car, you can maybe hold back plat, and you can peek back plat first, and then as they're filing out, you know, have your teammate peek, things like that. You really just got to work with your teammate and see where they want to play, or, you know, have your teammate play somewhere and then you kind of play off that. That's really your best bet. But honestly, holding back on any site, you know, holding a back position rather than a forward position is going to allow your teammates more time to rotate and you still be alive. So that's definitely a plus. You really want to take something that's going to be an advantage to you, especially if you are, you know, facing Glocks and things like that. You want to have something that has more long range and more of an advantage for the CTs and the USPS. Now, if you're a T player, you want to get good positioning based off of, you know, how your team is playing. So if your teammates aren't rushing anywhere, you want to have someone tons, you want to have someone cat, you want to have someone long, you want to have someone watching mid. So you're covering all your angles, and then you can capitalize on maybe if one of your teammates get a pick or anything like that. Now, if you're full on rushing something, the key for positioning with that would be, like, if you're rushing B, you know, have someone watch lower tons, you know, and just hang out in tons, because if your team gets sight, someone might rotate tons and you could just sit in tons. So that's definitely an option as well. And then also, another key to positioning is be right next to your teammates. If you're rushing out, be next to your teammates. Be ready to get the trade kill. So that's really the key to positioning for each side. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, and we'll head over to Mirage for that, is essentially early info. And early info doesn't always mean peeking. So I'll go ahead and show you exactly what I mean on Mirage, just because it's the easiest. So I will be back in just a second. Alright everyone, we are back on Mirage, and so the first thing I want to talk about was getting early information. And as I said, that doesn't always mean like peeking to get information. So of course you're always going to have one guy that goes up cat and just listens to see if anyone is in apartments, anyone's going underpass, anything like that. And that could definitely add to the information. So if they say no one is in apps, honestly, if you're the guy playing van, or if you're the guy playing on site, walk up apps. I'm not even kidding. Walk up apps, because the T side could be playing for, you know, contact or anything like that. And if they are, they're not going to expect someone to be right here. They're not going to expect to have someone close. So they're not going to be really ready for that. So you really got to, you know, walk through apps. Make sure they're not playing a fake or anything like that. Make sure they just don't have just one guy with bomb B. So that's definitely something that you need to do to kind of capitalize on that, to really confirm that early information. So other than that, if they are rushing or anything like that, you can either fall back if you choose to, or you can try and get an early pick. I definitely suggest falling back, because it's going to give you more survivability, and it's going to allow your teammates more time to rotate once again. On B site, especially on Mirage, you could easily play these pillars for a really long time and stay alive for a decent amount of time. You could even set up an easy crossfire with the guys coming out a window with your teammate on cat. So that definitely helps as well. Or you could even fall all the way back to market. I really don't suggest this. I suggest playing one of the pillars. It's going to be a whole lot easier. Now, if your teammate also doesn't hear, if you are the guy cat, and you don't hear anyone in apps, anyone underpass, what you should do is you could easily come up here and peek mid. Help your teammate out mid. Make sure no one's mid. Make sure no one's spotting mid or anything like that. Then from there, you could check underpass. You could even hop down if you wanted to and check underpass once you cleared top mid. And then that just gives you even more information. And the same goes for A site as well too. A site, you could easily hold this corner, see if anyone's in palace. You could easily hold this corner, see if anybody is on stairs or anything like that. Or you could even go all the way up close if you wanted to, if your teammate flashed you or anything like that. You could easily hold this as well, really up close, or even under palace and get really good information as well. Now the next thing I wanted to talk about, and the next thing I went over in the last video, that was like essentially aim, but what goes along with that the most is crosshair placement, and that's really something I could easily show you guys. So a lot of people, as an example, if you're holding behind this box, or even say you are holding back here behind this pillar, and you know they're going to come out balcony, a lot of people will hold like right here, right past this little wood thing, but they don't have the reaction time for it. So you got to really find your reaction time, know how good of a reaction time you have, and if you could hit this shot, believe me, by all means, hold this angle. If you can't hit this shot 9 times out of 10, hold out farther. You know, it's going to give you more of an advantage. It may not seem like it, but it's going to give you more of an advantage. The same goes for peeking apps. If you're peeking apps either from van or even from balcony, and you're holding right here and you know they're not walking up, your teammate says they're running up, and you're holding right here and you can't hit this shot 9 times out of 10, you are just putting yourself in a bad situation. So you need to have better crosshair placement, and crosshair placement is also based off of your reaction time. So you could easily hold out here for the head angle. Of course, you always want to hold the head angle no matter what, but if you are, say, you know, holding from cat, you know, easily hold here so that way they can't shoot you from this window, but they'll be running out looking for the guy van, looking for the guy bench, looking for your teammate on site, so they won't necessarily be looking at you. But hold even farther up. Don't hold this angle right here, as I said, if you can't hit the shot. So that's a huge thing with crosshair placement. The next thing you can do on T side, even for crosshair placement, you want to hold all the common angles. So if you think someone could be here, then hold there. If you think someone could be bench, hold there. If you think someone could be on site, hold here as you're running up, and then move to cat, move to here, move to here. You know, you hold for those common angles, and then you can base, you know, where they are off that. But if you're holding for those common angles, 9 times out of 10 someone will be in that common angle, and you will either gush them or maybe even get the kill because of it, or catch them off guard as well. So that's a huge thing with holding angles and crosshair placement, and that really goes along with aim. Now, and then from there you could really capitalize on positioning or anything like that. And as you're sidestepping, because that was another thing that I was talking about in my last video, as you're sidestepping, you want to make sure that you stop. So don't move your crosshair. That doesn't come with sidestep shooting. Don't move your crosshair. That'll kill you. So if you're sidestep shooting and they're sidestep shooting, you know, move a little bit, move your crosshair a little bit towards your movement. Don't like move sporadically like, oh, he's over here but I'm aiming right here. Don't go like that. That doesn't work. That's just going to kill you. What you should do in that situation is you should easily just move with your crosshair, and then you could peek them like that, especially if they're sidestep shooting. But a lot of people do get flustered and don't really think about that, so that's why I kind of just wanted to give you that quick little information there. It is a little bit harder on pistol rounds because people do their movements all weird, all crazy, all wonky because they're just trying to get the kill, and a lot of people do panic. But that's just the information that I had for you guys. This is just a little bit more of an in-depth video, so I hope you all really enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. But other than that, my name is Epithemy, and remember, always find your fire.